do you struggle with getting your exercise in? Just about everyone already knows that we should have some level of physical activity or exercise every day. However, many of us, myself included, have a very hard time finding the motivation to do it. My argument today is that we can use mobile apps as a motivation to exercise. First of all, let me go over the fact, which most of you probably already know, that there are many positive benefits to having a regular daily exercise routine. According to the Mayo Clinic, daily brisk walking has several beneficial effects. It can help you maintain a healthy weight. It can prevent or manage some chronic conditions, such as heart conditions and blood sugar, blood pressure issues. And it can strengthen both your bones and muscles. Just simple brisk walking. You don't have to do a whole lot of effort, just simply walking. In addition to that, it can improve your mood. It does release dopamine and other chemicals in your brain. It can make you happy. And it can increase your balance and coordination. According to the fitness blog Your Daily Workout, jogging, which is in my mind the next step up from brisk walking, jogging has some similar, though oftentimes greater health effects. It can prevent hypertension and chronic diseases. It can actually prevent some cancers. It can help keep infectious diseases at bay. It can control and prevent diabetes, improve mental health, combat stress, and help you lose weight. As you can see, there are some overlaps there between walking and jogging. And finally, according to the Harvard Health Journal, bicycling has about 5 main health benefits. It is easy on your joints if walking or jogging is too difficult for you because of weak knee joints or back issues or things like that. Bicycling can be a good alternative to that. It provides a good aerobic workout. It gets your heart pumping. It gets your lungs expanding. It helps build muscle, especially in your legs and lower back. It can help you with everyday activities because it helps you build stamina. And it will help you strengthen bone. As I've said, many people, I would probably say most people, already know on some level that you should be active on a daily basis. So why is it oftentimes so hard to find motivation? Like I said, I have always had a hard time finding motivation to stay physically active myself. In our current society, distractions are everywhere. If you are like me, one of your biggest distractions is in your pocket at almost any given time. Mm-hmm. This cell phone right here is one of my biggest distractions. If I'm not doing anything else, I'm probably on my cell phone. According to a 2017 study by the Pew Research Center, 95% of Americans own some sort of cell phone, and 77% of Americans own some sort of smartphone. So think iPhone, Android, BlackBerry. 77% of Americans own something along those lines. Before I go on to that, we use those phones for lots of different things. Communication is obviously the big one. Social media. But for a lot of people, including myself, a big one that we use it for is games. According to a 2016 article by eMarketer, quote, more than 2/3 of mobile phone users and nearly 56% of the U.S. population play games on their mobile phones. That's a lot of people playing games now. Realistically, as you're watching this, you might be playing something as we speak. there are, if you are into games, if that's something that interests you, there are a lot of benefits to using your mobile phone as a gaming platform. They're portable, whereas with like a PlayStation or an Xbox or even a computer setup, you can't take that with you so easily. You got a lot to unhook. It's cumbersome to take it traveling with you. Whereas your phone, take it out of your pocket when you got a spare minute. Candy Crush, Bejeweled, Clash of Clans, right there. Just about any genre that you could imagine on a console game or a computer game, there's something probably comparable on your phone. There is a social dynamic. Most games available now have some sort of social dynamic to them. You can move to Facebook, and you can see where your friend is at on this stage, or how far you left your best friend in the dust on that game. I mentioned earlier Clash of Clans. That's a very popular mobile game that has a very social dynamic. There are people that form these clans with their friends, co-workers, church buddies, whatever else, that they then get together and they strengthen each other and they help each other out and they fight each other's battles. And it can be a very socially bonding dynamic, these games. And one of the big draws for them is they are inexpensive. Speaking from my experience, I'm an Android user. I haven't used an iPhone in a very long time. But on Android, at least, the majority of games are free. Most of them will offer some sort of what's called in-app purchase, which means you can play the game for free. However, if you want to have the best benefits or the best tools or power-ups or whatever, you can purchase them in the game. Some games you'll pay 99 cents. You've got the full game right there. No more purchase needed. Some games can get a little more expensive. I think the most expensive I've seen is like $5. So they are very expensive compared to console games or computer games where you're maybe paying $50, $60. You can't really compare the quality of the games. However, you pick and choose your battles, right? So my challenge, my idea here, is that we can maybe take our distractions, which in my case is the cell phone, and we can use this to turn it around and make it become our motivation. Like I said, I use my phone for lots of things. Obviously, I use it for communication. However, I am almost always listening to something. If I don't need to be using my ears for something else, probably listening to a podcast. I learned a lot. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and it helps keep me focused. I have used different apps in the past to try and help me keep track of my workouts. There are a couple of apps that are very popular. One is called Map My Run, and there's also Map My Ride, which are different apps that let you track your walking or running or bicycling habits. You can track the course you take, how far you've gone, how fast you went, and you can track all sorts of things within those apps. Another one I've used is called Gym Notes, Gymnotes, Gym Notes, and it just simply lets you record what you've done in the gym, how long you're on the treadmill, or how many pounds you lifted with a barbell, whatever the situation may be. The issue with these is that they are great for helping you keep track if you already have the motivation. If you do not have the motivation, at least in my experience, they do not provide any additional motivation that has to already be in place. So what if there was a way that we could take this tool or distraction and turn it around to provide that motivation? Okay? There is an app I was introduced to that is called Zombies Run. That's all it's called, Zombies Run. And what this app does is it motivates you to run by feeding you a story. The story is that if this is something you may be interested in, I'm not going to give any spoilers here, don't worry about that. However, the basic story is that you are living in a township after a zombie apocalypse. and you are a runner that is going out and getting supplies for your township. And as you are running or walking, the story is unfolding around you. You're learning more about the township and the people in it, and it provides this dynamic story. It provides you with different types of motivation, because as you go through, you are not only unlocking more parts of the story, but you are unlocking supplies, and you can build your own township within the app. As you open it, this is the home screen you will see. If that's coming through on my webcam, I don't know. And that's what it looks like. Just a very simple interface. And as you go through, you have different missions that you are given. You have your story missions, which are just the story that's unfolding as you go along. But you can design and use the supplies you've gathered to actually build up your own township as it goes along, and it provides kind of a mini game within the app. But it has a lot of the same features as like Map My Run does. For example, it keeps a record of your runs, and it breaks down how many miles you went and how fast you went through them. At the same time, if you have GPS enabled, it is keeping a record of exactly where you went. And so you can go back through it at a later time and relive the run, if you will. It keeps a track of lots of different things. The supplies you gain, you can go back and re-listen to some missions. It does have a social dynamic to it. There are forums and websites and discussion groups, and every once in a while they host what they will call a virtual 5K, which you sign up for, and you do the 5K run wherever you may be. You don't have to go to any specific place, but there will be hundreds of people running this same race you are at about the same time, and it provides that kind of concept of partaking in a 5K or a marathon or whatever, but you can do it at your own pace. To me, that is one of the biggest draws of this app, is that it lets you go at your own pace. Starting out, I can just start out walking, and then as my stamina gets better and my speed gets better, I can run and I can jog and I can do it at whatever pace I feel most comfortable with. It does have an option called chases that you can turn on and turn off, where in addition to the regular story, every once in a while it'll say, hey, there are some zombies behind you. You have to put on a boost of speed to outrun them, or you're going to lose the supplies you get. That allows you, if you're into interval training, that allows you to have the motivation to put on that little extra burst of speed, really get your heart going, get your blood pumping, right? Pros and cons. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't include those. The pros are that, like I mentioned, you can go at your own pace. That is one of the biggest things for me, as I mentioned. It is free with purchase options. So the app, like I said, the app itself is free. You don't have to pay anything to download it. Once you are in the app, there are different mission options you can pay to unlock later on. The cons, it is somewhat limited without purchases. I believe without any sort of payment, there are, I believe, 7 missions you can complete. Just enough to give you a taste of it, really. The flip side of that coin is it is relatively inexpensive. The other con is it's a zombie thing. It's not for everybody. My audience are my parents. They don't like zombies, right? I told them going into this that my job tonight was to convince them to maybe use a zombie app to start walking. Should have seen the look I got from them. It didn't go over well. If you're not into the horror genre or the zombie apocalypse subgenre, this isn't for you. However, it's going in a good direction. I believe that if people show there is an interest for something like this, you'll start seeing more of them, and you may start seeing different things. If you've ever played one of those treasure run games where you're where you're moving the guy around to collect the treasure. It's like an Indiana Jones style mobile game. Maybe we'll one day see a treasure run themed thing where you actually have to run. I see a lot of opportunity here. I just really think we need to show the app developers this is something we're interested in. So if you know you need to be more active than you are, and that is something that's been difficult for you, please consider giving some sort of app a chance to be your motivation instead of your distraction. Thank you.